Before we talk about trucks, let's talk about space, or rather, the lack of it. Japan is one of the most densely populated countries in the world, with roughly 90% of its people living in urban areas. Cities here weren't designed for wide highways or massive vehicles. Instead, they grew organically over centuries, long before modern transportation was even a concept. Because of this, Japanese cities feel incredibly tight. Buildings sit close together, streets are narrow, and road layouts often look more like a maze than a grid. But for everyday life, this usually isn't a major problem. Car ownership in Japan is relatively low compared to Western countries. Even in Tokyo, across all 23 wards, only about a third of residents own a car. Where things get complicated is freight transportation. Despite the compact nature of Japanese cities, goods still need to be delivered, and trucks are responsible for handling the overwhelming majority of that work. In fact, trucking accounts for over 90% of all domestic freight movement in Japan, making drivers the backbone of the nation's supply chain. Japan's trucking industry is dominated by four major domestic manufacturers: Hino, Isuzu, UD Trucks, and Fuso. These brands are perfectly adapted to local conditions. While European trucks like Scania, Volvo, or Mercedes can occasionally be seen, they are still a rare sight on Japanese roads. Most commercial trucks in Japan are day cabs, and there's a practical reason for that. The majority of drivers operate locally and return home after their shifts, meaning there's no need for sleeper cabins. Smaller cabs also make navigating narrow streets and tight delivery zones far easier. Much like older European cities, Japanese infrastructure was originally built around people, not cars. Even though modern highways exist, truck drivers frequently find themselves maneuvering through alleys and compact streets to reach warehouses, shops, and residential areas. Because of these limitations, Japan follows very strict rules regarding truck size and trailer configurations. The country mainly uses two setups: semi-trailers and full trailer combinations. Semi-trailers rely partly on the tractor unit for support, while full trailers are completely self-supported and are usually pulled by rigid trucks. On expressways, semi-trailers are limited to approximately 16.5 meters in length. Rigid trucks towing full trailers are allowed to be slightly longer, reaching up to 18 meters. However, once trucks leave the expressway system, size restrictions become far more severe. On regular roads, drivers usually operate rigid trucks with 4, 6, or 8 wheels. Some longer models are equipped with steering rear axles, allowing them to make surprisingly tight turns in confined spaces. In these areas, maximum vehicle length is restricted to 12 meters, with a width limit of 2.5 meters. This doesn't mean that larger articulated trucks are completely banned from regular roads. They can leave expressways, but only within designated zones that are specifically approved for oversized vehicles. Outside of these areas, strict limits are enforced to protect infrastructure and improve safety. Japan is also well known for its conservative speed limits. Nationwide, the maximum legal speed is capped at around 80 kilometers per hour, or roughly 50 miles per hour. While many trucks are technically capable of driving faster, high-speed travel simply isn't necessary. The country's relatively short driving distances make efficiency far more important than raw speed. One major difference between Japanese trucking and what drivers in North America are used to is enforcement. Traditional roadside inspections are far less common. Instead of relying heavily on officers pulling drivers over, Japan uses an extensive network of cameras, sensors, and automated monitoring systems across its expressway network. These systems track vehicle speed, identify license plates, and even monitor weight compliance without forcing drivers to stop. As a result, truckers can focus on driving rather than constantly worrying about inspections or surprise roadside checks. The industry itself operates on a foundation of trust, but that trust is supported by strict oversight. Trucks are often equipped with onboard cameras, GPS tracking systems, digital tachographs, and other data collection tools. These technologies help companies monitor driver behavior and improve overall road safety. Japan takes safety so seriously that, since 2011, mandatory breathalyzer tests have been required for all commercial drivers before starting their shift. This policy was introduced to drastically reduce alcohol-related incidents and has become a standard part of daily operations. Commercial vehicles in Japan are easy to spot, thanks to their distinct green license plates. These plates aren't just for identification. They play a key role in the country's automated enforcement system. Expressway sensors can instantly recognize commercial trucks and perform weight-in-motion checks, measuring a vehicle's total weight as it drives at normal speed, without stopping traffic. This level of automation allows authorities to maintain strict compliance while keeping freight moving efficiently.